Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sunday morning celebration. Welcome to everybody who's present in person, and welcome all of you tuning in virtually. Let's have a joyous morning. Oh, Mother Ruby, Mother Ruby, in the wings of thy love may I dance in thy liberty. In the wings of thy love may I dance in thy liberty. I'm spreading my wings like an eagle, soaring in the sky I will. I'm spreading my wings like an eagle, soaring in the sky I will. Oh, Mother, won't you come and make my heart to cry? Oh, Mother, won't you come and make my heart to cry? Mother, in the wind of thy love may I dance in thy liberty. In the wind of thy love may I dance in thy liberty. Spreading my wings like an eagle, soaring in the sky I will. I'm spreading my wings like an eagle, soaring in the sky I will. Oh, Mother, won't you come and make my heart to draw you? Oh, Mother, won't you come and make my heart to draw you? Mother, Ruby, Mother, Ruby, in the wind of thy love may I dance in thy liberty. In the wind of thy love may I dance in thy liberty. I'm spreading my wings like an eagle, soaring in the sky I will. I'm spreading my wings like an eagle, soaring in the sky I will. Oh, Mother, won't you come and make my heart to cry? Oh, Mother, won't you come and make my heart to cry? Mother, Mother, in the wind of thy love may I dance in thy liberty. In the wind of thy love may I dance in thy liberty. Spreading my wings like an eagle, soaring in the sky I will. I'm spreading my wings like an eagle, soaring in the sky I will. Oh, Mother, won't you come and make my heart to draw you? Oh, Mother, won't you come and make my heart to draw you? Oh, Mother, won't you come and make my heart to draw you? Oh, Mother, won't you come and make my heart to draw you? Oh, Mother, won't you come and make my heart, Lord, draw you?
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you online. Here we are, blessed with a new year. So many blessings in our lives. Let's turn to the Lord in prayer and pray one of Yogananda's New Year's prayers with fire. Dedication. You'll see. Anyway, dear Lord, we are entering a better life, oh Father. through the portals of the new year. May it be a year of greatest communion with Thee. O Giver of all gifts, be Thou the only King, sitting on the throne of our desires. In the past, desires have often led us astray. Bless us that henceforth all our aspirations be in harmony with Thy will. Bless us that every day be a new awakening in Thy consciousness. Physically, mentally, morally, and spiritually. We thank Thee, O Father, and all the great ones who are blessing us on our way to the kingdom. Amen. Now we chant. Now we get to say together one of our beautiful affirmations. Ready? Suffer confusion are the result of trying to halt the soul's creative, loving expression. The living soul in each person actively strives for a dynamic, creative expression of truth, beauty, and goodness. I love that we get to say those. I hope you do too. So, greetings. Welcome, everyone. Do we have people online?
Yes.
Saraswati, Bellingham, Prakriti, local,
Prabhamitra and Radhika,
Prabhamitra and Radhika, Huntington Beach, Datri, Surya, Shambhavi and Viraj, Aptos, Kashemi, Newport Beach, Sadananda, Portland. Oh, Sadananda, see, that's a problem with this. Sadananda, I know you're in Virginia, sorry. I was thinking Sachidanand for a minute there. So many ways to mess up. Sadvi.
Poetry.
I'm quitting Poetry.
Bhakti Bala and Yoshika.
Well, I got that one, Bhakti Bali. Thank you for joining us from France. Pardon me? Kashemi.
Yogeshwara.
Arya, Florida.
DT and Krista Prem.
Elisa Viejo. No. Kamalini Devi. Dana Point.
Lake Forest, I think.
Lake Forest. Preeti. Newport Beach.
And
Sundari. Close by. How wonderful that you're all joining us. Thank you. Now, before we go on, birthdays? Anybody? Close? Coming? Past? Oh, okay. I get to give a birthday candle to Shima. Which one would you like?
I'll take the red.
The red one.
I have a birthday coming up.
Oh. This is coming across. Check it out, we get something other one.
Yeah, both. Oh, Chihuahua.
Karen. No, I'll get it next week.
No.
He hasn't touched it.
No, I haven't touched it.
There's ready again.
Let her choose.
Come and choose. There's a yellow one or a voted. Come and choose. The complication. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Well, we're all together on the spiritual path, and great souls that you are, let us pronam to each other.
Sun's back there.
Please take your offering in your right hand and pray with me. Beloved Lord, Father and Mother of us all.
Beloved Lord, Father and Mother of us all.
Bless us to realize your loving presence and constant care.
Bless us to realize your loving presence and constant care.
Bless us to know that you are the source of all our good.
Bless us to know that you are the source of all our good.
Bless us to give to your work with joyous and generous hearts.
Bless us to give to your work with joyous and generous hearts.
And bless us to live abundant lives in your divine spirit.
Bless us to live abundant lives in your divine spirit.
Amen.
Om
Now it's time for scriptures. And today I wanted to read, this happens to be written in See God with Open Eyes by Swami Chaitananda, but it's written in several places. It's about January 1st, 1886, in the Kosipur garden with Ramakrishna. Now he's been sick and he's moved closer to Calcutta and Kolkata, I should say, right? Closer. And so this is what happened on that day. It's a beautiful day. After his noon rest on January 1st, 1886, he felt better than usual. At 3 p.m., he told his nephew, "I feel good today. Let us go for a walk in the garden." Ramlal replied, "Yes, uncle, you look good. Let's go for a walk." The master put on a red bordered dhoti, a shirt, a coat, a cap that covered his ears, and sandals. He took his walking stick. Latu Maharaj and Ramlal helped him down the wooden steps of the ground floor. He then came out of the house through the western door and began to walk on the garden path. Because it was a holiday, more than 30 people were gathered from Calcutta to see the master. Some were waiting inside the house, some were under the trees in the garden. They were talking amongst themselves about the master. When they saw him, they all stood up reverently and bowed down. They were delighted to see him in the garden, and they followed him as he walked. It was a pleasant and sunny afternoon. The red garden path went from the main house to the south and then turned right toward the gate. The master proceeded slowly southward to the gate. The devotees followed him at a distance. When he reached the midpoint of the path between the house and the gate, the master saw Girish, Ram, Atul, and a few others under a tree on the west side of the park. They bowed down and came over to him joyfully. Before anyone had spoken a word, the master addressed Girish, asking him, Girish, what have you seen and understood about me that makes you say all these things, that I'm an avatar and so on, to everyone, wherever you go? Girish responded by kneeling down at the master's feet, folding his hands before his upraised face, and saying in a voice choked with emotion, what more can I say? Even the sages Vyasa and Valmiki could find no words to measure his glory. Ramakrishna was deeply moved by Girish's words and his conviction. He stood still on the path, his whole body covered in goosebumps as his mind ascended into ecstasy. His whole face beamed with divine bliss. Seeing that wonderful form of the master, the devotees' joy knew no bounds. Exultant, they began to shout, Jai Sri Ramakrishna, Jai Sri Ramakrishna, victory to Sri Ramakrishna. Some collected flowers from the garden and offered them to him. Some took the dust of his feet. After some time, the master came down from his deep samadhi. In a half-ecstatic state, he said 3 sentences. What more can I tell you? I bless you all. May you all be illumined. After uttering these words, he became overwhelmed with love and compassion for his devotees and went into ecstasy. Please remember that this auspicious occasion was the last time he appeared outside of his house to a group of devotees, blessing them collectively. On this day, he expressed his last message to all. Swami Saradananda wrote, the selfless and profound blessing touched the devotees deep within their hearts, and they became mad with joy. They forgot time and space. They forgot the master's illness. They forgot that they vowed not to touch him until his recovery. They saw that a wondrous divine being had come down to them from heaven and was calling to them affectionately. They also felt that their suffering grieved him and that he was carrying in his heart an infinite pain and compassion for them, and offering them shelter as selflessly as a loving mother. They became anxious to bow down to him and take the dust of his feet. Their cries of victory to Ramakrishna resounded in all directions as one by one they bowed down to him. As they touched his feet, the ocean of the master's compassion burst through all bounds and created an astonishing phenomenon. Almost every day in Dakshineswar, we had seen the master become overwhelmed with compassion and grace and bless some devotees with his powerful divine touch. On this day, remaining in a semi-ecstatic state, he began to touch each devotee present in a similar way, and their joy was boundless. The devotees understood that from this day on, the master would no longer conceal his divinity from them or anyone in the world. They had no doubt that from now on, all sinners and sufferers, despite their shortcomings, lack of spirituality, or feelings of inadequacy, would find shelter at his blessed feet. Seeing the master in that unique, exalted state, some became speechless and could only watch him. Some cried out loudly to everyone in the house to come and be blessed. Others picked flowers from the garden and began to worship him. You can only imagine. I know that was long, so this is just short. This is from M, the Apostle and Evangelist, and it's words that M spoke later on to his devotees. And when M spoke, it was always about Ramakrishna. So here we go, a little bit more about Ramakrishna. M speaking. When the avatar descends, it is a great chance. Those who are born now are very fortunate. Everything is ready, only to eat. He has made all the arrangements. Again, he is waiting. Only take the trouble to eat. Christ said, addressing them all loudly, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Thakur also said, "Meditate on me. The rest I myself shall take care of." He said to his devotees, "Verily, verily, I swear unto you, whosoever shall think on me shall inherit my wealth, even as a son inherits his father's wealth. And my wealth is jnana, spiritual knowledge, bhakti, devotion, discrimination and dispassion, peace and happiness, prema, intense love, and samadhi, realization of God." Thakur is that Paramatman, knowing whom everything is known. If one loves him with a heart and soul, one has achieved. Nothing much more remains to be done. It is so easy then, as it were for the gopis. Beautiful, hopeful words, scriptures for today. So, announcements. Next week we have how yoga works. And then the next week, the 18th, we have how to make progress and the yoga rocket. 2 short little videos about how we can progress quickly on our yoga path. Coming up, the January retreat, January 23rd to the 25th. The cost is $149, and you can sign up with Jayatri or on the links that come in your newsletters. And then everyone is invited to a retreat lunch on 124 after the morning session on Saturday at nearby Heller Park on 16th. We'll meet outdoors in the park and enjoy fellowship. You have to bring your own lunch. And also, I think the musicians would like us to announce that Saturday night after the session, there will be a kirtan. Do you have that right? Okay, good. And then this year we are offering opportunities. We started last year to meditate together for people who, with certain arities during the week. And those are posted on the window. All right, and then we also have the book. So I'm skipping around. The book for the retreat is in the bookstore. And we also have a book study coming up that if you are interested in the book study or in receiving information about other community events, please put your name on the clipboard that's in the lobby. Do you want to say anything about the book?
It's about the Love Principles by Arlene Lawrence, and it's a fabulous book with specific techniques how to live from love.
And Shima will be directing the group, hosting the group, and more details to come. I'm not sure when is the best time for the most people to be able to attend. And then on Thursdays, you get your letter from Spiritual World Society, and on Saturdays from the Yoga Center that tells all the things that are going on here at the Yoga Center, both virtually and online, both virtually and in person. And then Yoga World, that wonderful Yoga World where you can just follow your heart's desires and learn things about yoga, be inspired. So, announcements for today. Voldo. Let's stand up and prepare ourselves for the next part of the Sunday morning as we harmonize body, mind, and spirit. Inhale. Inhale. Make yourselves comfortable. Well, our speaker today is Dhirasanta. He's going to be talking about Shrima for examples for us. And before he comes up, I want to read just a little tiny bit of some of Shrima's words. She said, "Surely the Master will bestow his grace on you, my child. He is all-knowing. He dwells in the hearts of all. The world belongs to him. Nothing happens without his wish. Even the leaves of the tree do not move without his will. Know for certain that it is the will of God that such longing has dawned in your heart. Those who love God, he protects them. Whether you love him or not, he loves you. Have a little recollectedness of the Master. Call on him with a longing heart. Think of and reflect on him. At the end of the day, call on him shedding 2 tears. My child, what do you have in the world other than these 2 teardrops? Everything in the world belongs to him, but these 2 teardrops are yours. Please offer them to the Master. He will be tied by your love. My child, don't be afraid. This time the Master came to make an easy path to realizing God. So, come on up. Tell us about Sri Ma. Let me get you some fresh water.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for everybody online. Appreciate the big crowds out there cheering me on. Talking about Sri Ma is not a small thing. I said I would do it, and then I thought, oh my gosh, what did I do? There's not a lot written about Sri Ma. You know, these are the 3 main books that I've found and gone through on Sri Ma. If you were to stack up all the books that are written about Ramakrishna and what he said, it would be a big stack. And these 3 books, and you know, this one is just called The Gospel of Sri Ma. It's just reminiscence of a bunch of different devotees and monks and what their experience of her. This book is Swami Chittananda's book, and it's pretty thick, and he goes through all kinds of views and aspects of her life. And this is a book he did recently that is her life in pictures, but it's also kind of a compilation of her life and his views on it. And it was this book that I received from him a few years ago, and I never had time to read it. And this fall, Shima and I did a 4-day silent kind of personal retreat. And I sat down and read this whole book during that time, and it just inspired me so. And I thought, well, I realized not a lot of people talk about Sri Ma. There's not a lot written about her. And I felt like I wanted to share some of my things that I've learned and some of the things that have impressed me about Sri Ma. And this is not by any means a complete list or a complete description. It's just my personal interpretations and feelings about it. I'm an engineer, and as an engineer, I've learned to look at things from different aspects and when you have a problem or a thing, if you look at it just from one point of view, you're not going to get the full picture. You're not going to see all of there is to solve or to learn from the problem or from the issue. And so I kind of look at things try and look at it from different viewpoints. And first I want to kind of compare Ramakrishna and Sarada Ma. This whole idea of the avatar and the Shakti, of the avatar Shakti, is well known in Hindu mythology. I mean, you got Rama and Sita, and Shiva and Parvati, and Krishna and Radha, Chaitanya and Vishnupriya. Were all supposed avatars and their Shakti expression. But all of those are kind of mythologized, and I think the thing that's really unique about Ramakrishna and Sarada is that we have real first-person accounts and descriptions of all of the events of their lives, and there's lots of factual, clear descriptions, and it's not just all, word of mouth mythologized over centuries. And so there's a lot of really clear information here that we can learn from and we can understand. And it, first-hand accounts rather than mythology. And in this case of Sharada, Ramakrishna, said that she's a direct incarnation of the Divine Mother. He declared that. He didn't say it publicly or announce it publicly, but to his devotees and everything, he said that, she is the Divine Mother. Sarada Devi is no different than the Divine Mother. I worship the Mother in her living form. When she came to live at Dakshineswar, within the first few months, he did this puja to her and worshipped her as the Divine Mother, which was a pretty significant thing in the spiritual world that he did this. And he said, "Why do you see me as great and not her? Whatever is here is in her also. It's also there." And he said that she and I are one. And later in life, she said the same thing. He said there's no ego in her, only the sense of mother. So we have, it's clearly that from his standpoint, from the standpoint of all of his devotees, she was the Divine Mother. And we'll take it out from under the cover. And so, and I just wanted to kind of a timeline encapsulation. Ramakrishna came to Dakshineswar when he was 19, and he spent from 1856 to 1870, 14 years in his period of spiritual discipline, where he was just mad with God, and he did all these different disciplines. We all have studied that, and we all know that. And then he only had a period from 1872 until his passing, which is 14 years, where he was actually teaching people and expressing what he had experienced to the world. Whereas Sarada Devi she lived for many years after the passing of Ramakrishna, and her ministry, the period where she was teaching people or serving people. Was 32 years. So she had 32 years of expressing in the world and teaching, which was a lot more than Ramakrishna did. And she lived a life of service. I mean, the biggest thing of her life is that when you look at it, Ramakrishna, his whole life was about experiencing God and this fervor, this divine fervor that he had. And his life was like consumed with experience of God and going into samadhi and being in bhava. And he didn't, do daily chores. He didn't do work. He never worked in the world. He basically was doing sadhana and then sitting and talking to people and teaching people after his long period of sadhana. Where Sarada Devi lived as a village woman most of her life in Dhirasanta. And she did chores and she maintained, she supported her family. And at first glance, her life looked like a normal, ordinary life. But as you dig into it more, there's just so much, it's a lot more than just that. And it's mind-boggling to see this person who's declared to be an avatar, divine incarnation of the Divine Mother, who's just living as a village woman in a village, cleaning and cooking and doing all of these things and maintaining her family. She was the oldest daughter in the family, and so she was kind of like the matriarch of the family, especially after her mother passed. And she had a large extended family with brothers and sisters and sisters-in-laws and aunts, and she kind of maintained the whole family. And the thing that was amazing is these people were not, Ramakrishna was surrounded by people, by saints and sages who came to visit him, and all of these people who were seekers from God, and he couldn't stand to be around worldly people. He couldn't stand to, to be around worldly people and to not be talking about God all the time. Sarada Devi lived in a village, and these villages at the time were very conservative. They had a lot of social norms and spiritual superstitions, essentially, that everybody was supposed to follow. And she was, and there was a lot of feigned spirituality, but it was more like superstition than being really spiritual. And her whole family were not spiritually minded people for the most part. They were just normal village people, often selfish, and conniving and manipulative. And this is the family that she lived in for years and years. And through all of, and they were often very abusive of her and take advantage of her. And she, like I said, she was cooking and cleaning and preparing vegetables and all of that through all these years and years and years in Jairambati, and taking care of the family and feeding them. And there's all of this manipulation and squabbling that was going on. Her sister-in-law was mentally unstable, deranged, and she often would have mental episodes, and she would become abusive and physically abusive, and even of Sri Ma. And then her daughter, because she was mentally ill, her sister-in-law's daughter, Radha, when she was born, Sri Ma ended up taking on the welfare of that kid and basically raising that kid, taking care of her. And there was, and that kid grew up to be selfish and abusive and took advantage of Sri Ma and all these things. And in spite of all of this, through all of these years of doing this, and the drama that was going on with her family, at the same time that this was going on, you had a constant stream of devotees and monks coming from the Ramakrishna mission that would travel to Jairambati to get counsel from Sri Ma or to get initiated by her. And when these people came, she would host them, she would cook for them, she would clean for them, then she would initiate them. She would take care of them. In addition to all the stuff that's going on with her family and taking care of her family. And life in Jairambati, in the village at this time, was really rough. I mean, these villages were subsistence farmer villages. These people lived and they barely survived. The houses were mud huts with mud floors, and the floors were made of mud and cow dung to make it a little bit harder, and the thatch roofs. Shima and I visited Jairambati in 1984, and it was very much the same as it was when Sri Ma lived there, and it was all maybe 200 mud huts out in the field. And at that time, they had just gotten electricity, and they had one light bulb in each hut. And these huts were 1 or 2 rooms. They weren't very big. There was no running water. There was no bathroom, flush toilets or plumbing. There was a privy out in the back or whatever. And they had these water tanks, basically ponds, next to the village, and everybody would get their water from. They would bathe in them. They would wash their dishes in these ponds. And so the water was not very good. And dysentery, malaria, cholera, these were things that happened regularly. Sri Ma suffered from many bouts of dysentery and malaria throughout her life. In later life, she suffered from rheumatism. And so this is a person who's, the Divine Mother incarnate, and she's going through all of this suffering. And at the same time, as the Ramakrishna mission was developing over these years and growing, the leaders of this Ramakrishna mission, Swami Vivekananda, Rakal, all of the big leaders of the organization, if they had a big decision to make, if they had a problem they needed solved that they weren't sure of, they would send a messenger to Jairavati to ask the mother what her opinion was on the subject. And whatever her opinion was would be law. It would go. She would just say, I think this or I think that. They would accept it immediately. And she had no title in the organization. She had no title or anything. But her opinions and her guidance shaped the direction and the outcome of the organization. When Vivekananda wanted to go to America, he asked for her blessing. She gave it to him. And her quiet counsel was, and they respected her counsel because they saw the wisdom in it. And everything that she did, she had this quiet wisdom that was unshakable, that was undeniable. And this is a person who didn't go out and look for fame or do anything overtly. She was this quiet person, but at the same time, all of this amazing stuff was going on with her and how she dealt with things. So I'm missing here. I mean, we live such comfortable lives. I mean, I can't even imagine being in those villages and having diarrhea for days and days on end. And, having these sicknesses days on end with no, you have to run to where, and often, especially in the early days, after the passing of Ramakrishna, she spent a couple of years basically in mourning. She spent a year in Vrindavan there, and when she came back, she really, there she had a lot of spiritual experiences and everything. But after that, when she came back, she's most of the rest of her life, she was not spending her time like Ramakrishna, having samadhis here and there and everywhere. She was doing work. She was taking care of her family. She was taking care of her devotees. So, I mean, her life is it's kind of mind-boggling to just look at the arc of her life and go, what is this all about? And why was this? Swami Chitananda, he really looks at this as an example for us, that her life was an example, and that we have to look at it in that perspective of what this is an example of for all of us and how we can learn from it, and that these things were not just random stuff that was happening for a reason, to be an example for all of us. So what are some of the lessons that we can learn from Sharda's life? And like I said, this is not a complete list. This is just some of the things that struck me that I wanted to mention. She didn't lecture. She didn't hold discourses. She didn't even lecture her devotees much. People would come to her time after time. People would come to her. They would beg her for initiation. She would initiate them. She'd give them a few sentences of description of advice or tell them what to, and then they would leave. And often they would never see her again. And so in these books, there's just some of the things that she said, and I didn't write down a whole lot of of her sayings in here. I want to encourage you guys to read some of these books if you haven't, and learn what you can learn from all of this. That's the main thing of this talk, is to encourage people to study her more and see what you can learn from her life. I think one of the things that she showed that was, she demonstrated is that spiritual realization is possible while living a normal householder life. If you look at Ramakrishna, a lot of what is in the gospel and talked about Ramakrishna, because he was so fired up on this idea of renunciation and complete surrender to God, and that a lot of the discourse was him talking to his monastic devotees. It's kind of skewed a little bit more in that direction. But, Sri Ma showed that you don't have to renounce the world to find God. Caring for your family, doing your duties, and keeping the mind absorbed in the divine is enough to have realization. And she didn't just say that, she demonstrated it in her life on a day-to-day business. Examples. There's tons of examples of how she did stuff. Do what you can, do your job as service to God, serve your family as God. There was, people that came to her and said, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to, she said, well, just do the service to your family. Take care of your family and see them as God and serve them as God. And if you can't do, you can't have time to meditate, do the best you can. And she was always about, it was your intention that mattered, doing the best you can, and that holding to all of these tight prescripts and do's and don'ts were not, she was really, she really didn't adhere to all of it, feel the need to follow all these rules carefully. I mean, from day one, she was a great example of practical, I call it practical spirituality. Knowing what the intent of the spiritual thing is, and then applying that to the world and doing things. One of the great examples that I remember is when she was traveling between Jagannathi and Calcutta. One time she was with a party of people and they're traveling, and they stopped to have food. And in those days, they didn't have restaurants and stuff. You just brought a cook with you, a person to cook with you. And they stopped, and their person made a meal for them, a pot of lentils and rice for the whole party. And this was all there was that they had that night to eat. And this person cooked the pot of lentils and rice. And as they were getting it out, they tripped and spilled the whole thing on the ground. And so now you have a whole party of people who haven't eaten all day. This is your only meal for the day. It's on the ground. Now, from strict Hindu law, that food is defiled. Nobody can eat it. All of that. Everybody else is freaking out. They're all upset. They're all doing all this stuff. Sri Ma just quietly goes over and gets a tray and gently scoops up all the food that hasn't, leaves a layer that's touched the ground, but scoops up what hasn't touched the ground, puts it on the tray. She always carried with her this little tin box with a picture of Ramakrishna in it that she worshipped daily, and she would feed daily and incense daily. And she gets out the picture of Ramakrishna, and she prays to Ramakrishna, and she offers the food to Ramakrishna. And she said, the food is now prasad, you can all eat it. And so they all ate their food and dinner. Now, nobody else would have thought even to do that, you know. And it's just an example of how she applied, you know, took a spiritual idea and applied, forget the precepts and all that other stuff. Do what you can in the moment, you know. She initiated, you know, there's all these things you're supposed to do to be initiated, to go through. And she initiated, Ramakrishna initiated maybe dozens of people. She initiated hundreds and hundreds. And she initiated people that you know, some of the monks, the main monks at Ramakrishna Mission, the people came to them and wanted initiation, and they saw that these people were too worldly and too bad for them to initiate. They would send them to Holy Mother, you know, and they'd come to Holy Mother, and she would initiate, you know. And she would initiate people so she would initiate people nobody else would. And she would initiate people in the most, you know, there's supposed to be all these ceremony things you're supposed to do, prepare for initiation and all that kind of stuff. And she would, if people didn't have time or couldn't do it, she would just initiate them with the most minor things. Go wash your hands instead, take a bath. You know, do little things like that. She initiated a guy on a, you know, and she was traveling on a train platform, and a guy just came up to her and like, he immediately saw her, didn't know her, and just said, "Oh, you're the Divine Mother." And he bowed down to her and worshipped her as the Divine Mother on the train platform, and she initiated him right there. So she demonstrated complete acceptance and motherly love. It was amazing. Let's see. So let me go through some of the other things. I mean, a lot of these things are things you could talk about and you could look at for months or lifetimes. I'm just hitting a few of them. She reminded her disciples that growth is slow and uneven, and that steady matters more than intensity. One must have faith and patience. Nothing is achieved in a day. Practical application of spiritual principles. This is what I was saying before. This is a big one. Rather than rituals and austerities, she emphasized severe self-discipline, inner purity, steady practice. You know, one of her big statements is that, you know, they ask her, is doing japa and meditation going to get me through realization? And she said, no, it has nothing to do with it. That your realization is from the grace of God, by God's grace alone. But doing meditation and spiritual practice is important for harmonizing your body and your mind and preparing for realization. Detachment while fulfilling responsibilities. Renunciation is not abandonment of duties, but freedom from clinging. Do what is needed, then let go of the outcome. So, I mean, this is, to me, is a really amazing, you know, thing you could think about for a long time, you know. Forgiveness as a spiritual power. She forgave easily and completely. Forgiveness liberates the forgiver first. Release resentment before it hardens into identity. It's easy to hold on to resentment about when people don't treat us right. And it's, you know, it hurts us. And this is one that my observation is we're all dealing with a lot. Strength expressed through endurance, not domination. She endured poverty, loneliness, misunderstanding, physical hardship. She never became bitter, complained, or indulged in self-pity. That's a whole nother one. You could go on for days working on, spend half your life working on that one. She demonstrated that strength is the ability to absorb pain without passing it on. When hurt comes, not to transmit hurt further. That's a big one for me. Humility without self-denial. She never claimed greatness, yet never diminished herself. Humility is clarity, not low self-esteem. Accept your role fully without comparison. She was mother to all. She treated everyone, monks, householders, sinners, skeptics, as her own children, without favoritism. She demonstrated limited compassion and love for all. She could not say now to repeat. She could not say no to repeated heartfelt requests. When others wouldn't give people things, they'd come to her and she'd end up giving it to them. She just had this love. No matter what people did, she had compassion for them. So her central message for me, the message that motivated me to do this talk, is the next thing that I want to talk about. That I think that is a message that is unique. I mean, in a sense, it's unique to her. It's a message that, to me, stands out greatest in her life, and to me, it has the greatest effect. Her central message: every soul is a child of the divine. She embodied compassion without judgment and taught that love, patience, and forgiveness are powerful spiritual principles. This is the thing. She only focused on the divine aspects of every person. She did not see their faults, no matter what they did, no matter what they did to her. This was demonstrated throughout her life in the way that people treated her. And she was not perfect in this. She was not a perfect human being. She endured much ill treatment. And I know at least one incident where her crazy sister-in-law got really mad and threw a big grapefruit or something at her across the room, hit her in the back, and caused a big welt on her back. And she turned around, and I don't remember exactly what she said, but she got angry, and she said something about your arm is going to pay for that or something. And immediately upon saying that, she went, "Oh, what have I done? What have I said?" And she ran off and prayed for days to have what she said undone, and to not that it was a mistake, and she apologized and all this stuff. And so she wasn't 100% perfect, but she was way close to it. And to me, this was her superpower. She demonstrated superhuman self-control and restraint in the face of repeated abuse, disrespect, and ill treatment. She never complained, gossiped, or talked about others' faults. She only saw the good in others and encouraged the good. For me, this is a major issue. I mean, I grew up in a family, my father felt like, if he saw something I wasn't doing right, it was his job to tell me about it. Because he wanted me to get everything right. And so he would spend, it was always, the things you did weren't good, weren't important. It's the things you did bad that were important that needed to be pointed out. And I grew up in a family where it's almost like this familial responsibility to tell everybody what they're doing wrong. And so that's not an easy habit to overcome. It's a tendency that's kind of built into me. My wife will attest to it. And Sri Ma never, even when people treated her badly, she didn't talk about it. She didn't talk about their bad traits. She talked about their good traits. She encouraged their good traits. And I think that this is something that is demonstrated again and again through her life as you read these books. That just, to me, stands out as a unique thing and to be demonstrated so clearly in a spiritual titan like this. And I think it's something that, for me, it's a huge thing, which is why I'm up here talking about it. Somebody told me long ago, if you want to learn something, go try and teach it. So that's why I'm here. And I think it's something that society as a whole and all of us as individuals can work on, How much of our time and thought and energy do we spend focusing on the faults of others or the ills that have been done to us? Either thinking about it or complaining to others about it. This drags us down. It strengthens our negative. It strengthens the negative and depletes the good in them and in us. We have to stop this for our own good, for the good of everybody. And I think this is the biggest example for me in her life of what she did and what we can all take from it. She said, if you want peace of mind, do not find fault in others. Learn to see only your own faults. And I think this statement is an immense statement of just those words. And if we can focus on those things, then, to me, that's kind of what it's all about. So that's what I want to end on. And I think we're running slow on time, so we're going to do it to chant before meditation, but let's just go into meditation. I'll repeat this sentence one more time. You guys can all think about it, and we'll go into meditation. Okay? If you want peace of mind, do not find fault with others. Learn to see your own faults. I surrender all to you, to you,
I surrender all to you, Deva, to you, Deva, I surrender all to you, I surrender all to you, Gurudeva, to you, Gurudeva, I surrender all to you, Gurudeva, to you, Gurudeva, I surrender all to you, Gurudeva, to you, Gurudeva, I surrender all to you, Gurudeva, to you, I surrender all to you, I surrender all to you, Gurudeva, to you, Gurudeva, I surrender all to you, Gurudeva, to you, Gurudeva, to you, Gurudeva, to you, Gurudeva, to you, Gurudeva.
Thank you, Dhirasanta, for taking on such a big subject. You're right, we could study for the rest of our lives. Greatness. May we all receive her blessing. Now it's our time to take pranam. Nande Raho. And we live in divine joy eternally.